For those of you that are wondering, the fuse box came in for that the 2015 Fusion here that I'm working on. The one where it would crank no start and it's been to multiple mechanics. What ended up happening, again, just to touch base, is I put the new fuse box in. The fuel pump fuse here on this back leg, I supplied power to it, and it's losing power inside this box going back to the fuel pump driver module, and the fuel pump driver module location is right here. It's right there, behind this piece of plastic. And if you do find out the fuel pump driver module is what needs to be replaced, I got one just in case. Just for testing purposes, we have one that's open that the shop paid for in these situations, so we can actually hook up and test for things on a good module. CU5Z 9 David 370 Frank. I actually bought this for myself because this is such a common occurrence with fuel pump driver modules, and I use it as a diagnostic tool. But anyway, this wasn't sending power back to pin 1 back there at that fuel pump driver module, so it was losing it inside the fuse box. And now the new box is installed. We're going to go ahead and fire this thing up. Verify the repair. This is a 2-piece box, so once you undo these, well, you don't have to undo these connectors, but there's a clip here. And then there's another clip back here. And that box actually rotates up and out of there. And there's another fuse panel underneath. So it's a double-piece box. And now we're at the point where, let's go ahead and tighten everything up. Yeah, this thing kind of seems like they've had some shady people working on this, because they just had stuff all over the place in this motor. They had the computer just laying over on top of the engine. Whoever's working on this stuff really didn't have a lot of experience doing this, because it just looks like kind of like some shady work. I had to go back to all these connectors here on top of this PCM and actually put the weather packing seal or the weather seals and stuff back in, because they buttoned them all back up without it, and just didn't seem like very good quality work. Let's just put it at that. Come on. This is where you need one of those locked. Let me get this tight. Alright, it's all tightened back up now. Everything's good. Put this. Man, they got stuff unplugged all over the place. The radio suppression wire is not bolted down. What the hell? Well, it's running. Got a clear check engine light, but that's because of all the cranking before, trying to see what was wrong with this thing. Seems to run pretty good, actually. Now I got to go through and put back the rest of the plastic stuff that the other mechanics took apart and nobody ever put back together. So I'm going to do that real quick and get the vehicle down there to my stall so I can clear previous engine codes, reset keep alive memory, and then go test drive it. Okay, so this thing has a code in the computer for PO, it's like P163E, and it doesn't like transmission programming, but all the programming and stuff is fine through the PCM, so I want to go and identify the transmission strategy and the transmission identification. So my ID My IDN is 1388899. So when I look in here, I need to be able to look. When you find these on these 2.5s and the Fusions, the Escapes, it's really difficult on the dirty engines to see where it's at, but it's actually located if you go this way and then look down. Right down in the very bottom. Probably not going to be able to see it. Where's my light? There it is. You can actually take your light. There's a white tag down in there. That's right down in there, next to that hose. See that white tag right there? That's where it is. It's hidden. And it says solenoid strategy 15007259 15007259 15007259 33776. Transmission strategy, and that is incorrect. So they have the wrong transmission strategy. Transmission IDN is 1388899. So if I look down in there, it says solenoid body, solenoid body 2. It looks like AE80A0. Yeah, so none of it matches. This transmission IDN 1388899. I don't see an IDN on there. Oh, there's a solenoid strategy and solenoid body. So it doesn't match. So that's his problem. Whoever put this in here, this is a different motor and trans. It's not the same one that came in it. Well, the guy told us not even fix it, but you know how that is. If something leaves the shop because the customer doesn't have a lot of money or something like that, he said, I'm out of cash after you guys at least got it started for me. I'll bring it back in a month to get the trans fixed. I figured I'm already here. Why not just do it for the guy so he can at least drive the vehicle? And he's already paid, you know, pretty fairly for the diagnostics and the repair of the vehicle not starting. So I'll just knock it out for him, and there it is. Everything went through successful. I think what it was is they put a junkyard motor in this thing, and the other two technicians that were actually doing the work, the two different shops that worked on it, didn't really know about the factory side of things. And this is why I always say it's good to have factory friends in the field, because transmission strategy and the solenoid ID base needs to be put into the computer. And a lot of like the aftermarket shops and stuff like that, they don't have this kind of computer, they don't have this kind of programming to do this, or they don't know that this is something that typically has to be done when replacing motors and transmissions and all that. And these IDs are not stored in the old computer system, putting new old stuff in. So everything cleared, functions complete, and now we'll go actually test drive the vehicle and wash it for the customer and get everything back on board for him. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the adaptive tables, and then I'm going to relearn Alright, operation is successful. Now we're going to go back into that same and then resume transmission adaptive learning. Try to keep it under 2,000 RPM and just drive carefully and let it do all its shifts, and it will slowly relearn. So now we go. Well, at least I got the car moving to where the guy can get it to wherever he needs to get it to. This transmission is it's probably shot. It doesn't want to. It didn't even want to shift out of first gear before. Now I've got it to shift out of first and a second by just putting the right programming and stuff in it and solenoid strategy. But now it's like that trans control unit completely, or the valve body. It just, solenoids are not wanting to move to shift into the next gear or something. This trans needs to be looked at by an actual trans guy and gone through, because you see here 40 mile an hour is 3,200 RPM and it won't shift. It's shot. So we're just gonna give it back to the guy. At least we're able to move it now. It's full of fluid, and I did what my job was: get the vehicle running and get it back to the customer. So now we're returning it. Y'all be blessed. I hope you learned something about that transmission solenoid strategy and ID on how to get it in the computer. That would probably be the most interesting part of this whole video for some people. Thank you guys.